Hey guys, quick note before I hand this tutorial over to Tom. We're still running our Thanksgiving sale, but time is running out. Be sure to check your emails for exclusive newsletter offers and big savings.
You ain't supposed to be in here. Looks like we got some fresh meat.
Hey guys, Tom from HitFilm here. Today's tutorial is inspired by the Vats system as seen in Bethesda's Fallout series. This tutorial can be followed in either HitFilm Express or Pro with the addition of the Mocha plugin. You can find a discount code for Mocha in the description down below. So here in HitFilm I already have my footage set up in the Composite Shot. Let's first begin with the initial camera crash zoom. I have here two shots to go between, my wide and my close-up. I'll first turn the opacity of my zoomed layer down to about 50% in order to see my alignment. Then scrub these clips through the timeline, finding the best point to overlap as seamlessly as possible. I'll open the Transform tab and by using scale and position, we'll match the two shots with my actor's motion. Once happy, crank the opacity back up to 100. To control the motion, we'll be using parenting and a point. Right click and create a new point. We'll name this Crash Zoom for now. Parent both clips to this layer. Open the Transform tab with the Crash Zoom layer and add a keyframe for both the position and scale for the beginning of the zoom. Move forward a few frames and add another set of keyframes. Now adjust the parameters until we have a more fitting overlay. To edit this into something with more impact, we'll select our keyframes and go up to the Convert to Smooth icon. Now with them altered, we'll adjust these further with the help of the value graph. The value graph allows us to modify speed and force with our animation. In here, we'll grab the end and drag down till we have a steep incline. Do the same to the other values if required. Now with the crash zoom set, we can begin the limb selection of our Vats effect. Depending on the complexity of your shot, this can be done with a mask, but as I'm using motion, I'll use Mocha. Apply Mocha to the main Vat shot and launch the UI. Before beginning to track, it's best that we first scrub through the footage and decide what features are to be selected. For me, I'm going to be tracking the head, torso, and this pipe. I'll use the X key to move around and the Z key in order to zoom in and focus on my tracks. Finally, using the X-spline tool to go around my features. When ready, track. Due to the motion of my subject, I'll need to stop and adjust the shape. For an effect like the Vats, it's important to keep the edges tight. I tend to stop every 5 to 10 frames depending on the length of my footage. Repeat this method for the other chosen selections. With all my tracking complete, I'll quickly name each layer with the appropriate name, head, torso, and pipe. Now we'll need to get this into HitFilm. We'll do this by going down to the Export Shape Data tab. The format is already set to HitFilm Transform and Shape, so we'll double check that we have all layers selected. I'm going to save this, naming it VAT Select. To make sure that we can return for any amends, we'll also save the project before closing. Before we import our shapes, select the clip that we're applying VATs to, and we're going to make this into a composite shot. Right click and select Make Composite Shot, or Ctrl and M. We'll name this VATs and press OK. Let's duplicate our clips so we have the same number of clips as we do features. Now we could use the alpha mats provided by Mocha for our selections and turn them into individual layers. However, we want to animate these as the feature is selected. For this we'll need full shape data on the masks. Click the arrow next to Import and select Composite Shot. Find the VAT Select Save from Mocha and import. HitFilm has now opened a new composite shot for you, and you should be seeing all our tracking shapes with the appropriate name onto plane layers. Copy and paste these into our Vats composite. Now that everything's together, I'll rename my layers with the F2 key. Open the Layer tab for each plane, go into the Mask drop down and cut the spline from each one to its relevant footage layer. If we now flick the clean plate off, we should have our features soloed. With all the data transferred, we can turn off the plane layers. Let's begin making our effect. We'll be repeating the effect for each layer, but for the moment, I'll begin with the torso layer. Start off with a fractal noise from the Generate dropdown. Set the type to marble and the interpolation to block. Under transform, we'll adjust the scale to 20, and in the axis scale, X will go to its maximum value, while Y will be set to its lowest. In subsettings, take the levels down to 1, influence to 70, and the scale to 42. Finally, in appearance, change color 1 to white, and color 2 to a green. Boost exposure to 10, offset to -0.5, and set the blend mode to multiply. As you can see, this is our static TV effect. Apply an invert from the color grading dropdown. This will help us highlight the effect further than a standard application. From Stylize, add a tint changing brightness used to intensity. Map blacks to a green and whites to a lighter shade. Bring the brightness intensity to 100. Bring in a curve and adjust to harden the shadows if needed. Finally, we'll go up to the layer properties and set the overall blend to difference. With the effect complete, let's animate its entry. I'll go into the layer tab and go into masks, then shape, and find roundness. If you adjust the slider, you can see this makes an organic distorted effect that we'll use for our growth. I'll set a keyframe for the end of the position, keeping it at 0. Then, over the course of about 10 frames, I'll bring this to a number till it's barely visible. For the exit, I'll do the reverse over 5. Repeat this for the remaining features, and when going from one select to another, slightly overlap them by a few frames to give it that transfer feel. Once happy, we'll return to our main composite shot. Relink the Vat composite to the crash zoom point layer. Create a mask, go into the mask shape settings and keyframe the feather to grow over the course of the crash zoom. Do the same for the layer's opacity, and then when ready, turn on motion blur. You're now ready for the apocalyptic wasteland. If you're interested in another Fallout tutorial, check out the card on screen now. Leave any questions down below, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to get notifications on when we next upload.